Welcome to BizzTalk. This is, gosh, I think this is our fifth one of these that we've done, and really happy today to have Pontus. And I hopefully I'm saying your last name correctly, Mähler, or how do you say it?
Mähler.
Okay, I wasn't even close.
All good, no worries.
But anyways, we're very lucky to have Pontus on here with us today. He is the Director of Business Development over at GTR Accelerator, as well as I think you're doing a couple of other things in your spare time too, right?
Yes, I'm currently a Director of Business Development for GTR, but also our other company, G Rounds. So we have a software platform as well for games to get tested. So those two, and then I have two board positions and about to get a third one. Yeah.
Excellent. And I think you're also you're a Twitch partner as well.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my old career, I guess. I used to be a pro gamer. That's correct. So I have like the legacy contract on Twitch. I have a YouTube and stuff, but I haven't done that in a while. But yeah, I have 400,000 followers, I think, and about 40 or 50 million views in total over the course. Yeah, well, I quit 3 years ago. No more, no more gaming.
Now, tell me what was the driving force behind saying no more to the pro gaming career? Because I know a lot of our audience would say, oh my gosh, he was living the dream. Why did he leave? Why did he give it up?
The thing is that it's such like, it isn't living the dream at all. Like maybe for the now, but before it wasn't. So when I started, right, the prize pools were $10,000. They weren't 30 million like the international. And we didn't have coaches, we didn't have physical therapists and, actual therapists and they have chefs now in the houses. It's crazy like how esports have evolved into more traditional sports, right? But even with all of that, the teams that aren't at that level, right? You got to play every single day. You got to put aside a lot of time. And I ended up working 12 to 16 hours a day, On top of that, I was streaming. On top of that, I was YouTubing. And originally, I did all of that myself until I eventually became smart enough to hire people to do it for me. But back then, again, it wasn't that big of, there wasn't that much revenue in the industry. So it wasn't like it is today where everything is easy, so to speak. You had to look for sponsors. You had to look for partnerships. Nowadays, even though I'm retired, I get like sponsorship emails every day. It's like, they just come, they flock. But the biggest thing is really that it's like you're an athlete that, has unlimited capacity to train. In football, right? At one point in time, after an hour or two, your body breaks down. And it's like, stop, you're being an idiot. I can't work out anymore. But gaming, there is no limit. It's as much as your brain is capable of handling and your eyes, which is a good and a bad thing, because if you can become Messi in football, you're going to keep playing football for 10 hours a day. Right? That's just what you're going to do because you want to be the freaking best. And in gaming, that's the problem. You basically want to be the best. So you keep gaming and gaming and gaming until you just really burn yourself out. And that's what I did in my younger career. And then when I grew up, I obviously started managing my time and realizing that, 6 hours or 12 hours actually doesn't do any difference. I'm not learning after the 6 hours, right? But it's a very stressful job. There's a lot of pressure and it's not easy. It isn't just playing games, it's right. All the business development around it. It's all the content. It's keeping things, people coming to you. It's doing marketing. And most importantly, keeping a straight face. And that's lying, right? Like no person is happy 5 days per week. It's not possible. The difference is that when you're not happy, even if you're in an office or online, someone might make a notice, but, whatever, right? But on stream, they're like, you look so ugly today. What did you do? Are you depressed? Are you depressed? No? What? Why are you 10 minutes late? You're lazy. Right. There is no filter, right? They don't mean harm, but every day you're getting hundreds of these comments and they can tell when you're not happy. They can tell when you don't enjoy it. And it's very mentally challenging. So it was a combination of just, doing it for 8 years. I'd already achieved everything I wanted, not monetarily, obviously, but sure. I won 13 tournaments. I have 43 top 3 placements. I've traveled the world. I did YouTube. I did the whole thing and I made good money and it was just time, I was tired of it. I had an opportunity to move to Dota with the rest of my team. So Team Liquid, if anyone here watches Dota 2, Team Liquid are all my old teammates. So that was my team.
That's awesome.
And I had the opportunity to move with them, but I was like, I'm done playing and researching and analyzing 10, 12 hours a day. I've always been good at business. I founded my own company when I was 17. I just want to keep doing it. So I said, it's time. It's time to put a stop and just, give it up. That was a longer story than I imagined. Sorry about that.
No, that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted kind of just like a little bit more insight. And it's interesting, I've been in the gaming industry for a little over 3 years, but on the studio side, and specifically, right. I do the finance. I do finance and business development, business structure. I do all the stuff except develop games. So I don't actually make games. I just make sure that the business doesn't, crumble in on itself. But it's interesting that you're not the first person that's told me exactly what you just said, as far as just the burnout, and eventually you're just like, this just isn't it. And yet, again, most of these really young kids there's a lot of aspiring pro gamers. And I think it'd be good for them to see a little bit more about that other side of, hey, do you really know what you're getting into? Like, this is so, but it is a little different now than it was for you. Like you said, there's a little bit more structure to it. There's a lot more support, at least at the big teams, right? Smaller teams is probably still pretty raw, but that's all right. Well, tell me a little bit about what you're doing now. What do you do at GTR? Like, you're pursuing this business passion now, and not completely leaving games behind, but different focus.
Yeah, so after I retired, I ran my consultancy next to my pro gaming career since I was 13 years old. So I've been consulting game companies on game design, game balance, business development, and stuff, and overall strategy. You're the head of finance. I'm more the strategy guy. So when I quit my esport career, I immediately went full-time consulting. I did the esports strategy for the biggest telecom here in Asia. I did their gaming strategy as well. So coming up with good ideas for how they can reach their audience. SIM cards, all this stuff, fiber packages, and a lot more than that. And then I worked with NVIDIA, Biostar, as a consultant as well. GTR was one of them. And then I had another company called Culture Group from China, where I helped a couple of other clients, telecoms as well. So Axiata in Malaysia, we were pitching to. I don't think they made a deal. But anyway, the point is that I did a bunch of consultancy stuff, basically. Because I was like, I've been doing that since I was, 13. And I just want to take a break, help a couple of companies see where I want to go. I realized very quickly that while it was insanely profitable, 6 companies and 6 clients at the same time is not exactly manageable. And also I did that for about a year or so. And I was like, you know what, it's time to kind of pick what I'm going to do next. So I had 3 full-time offers from 3 of these 6 companies, and 2 full-time offers. But I kind of liked what GTR was doing, because I've done many things, but I did like part-time stock trading, swing trading for like a couple of years back for fun, not with like a lot of money. I think I traded with about 20, 30K ish. And I've always been interested in investments. I like doing due diligence. I like reading quarterly reports, going into the finance, because numbers never lie. And, my swing trading was very successful. So GTRs, what we do is that, we find people that they're not good at business. They're not good at creating companies. They're not amazing CEOs. There are exceptions, of course, but they're very creative. They know how to create games. They know how to build projects that people are going to connect to, but they need that business expertise. So what Global Top Round does is that we invest in 10 companies per year as minority shareholders, and we take over the business side. So you can kind of say that I'm co-CEO of 47 companies, all of our investments, where we do, due diligence, pitch decks, valuations. We take care of the contracts and amendments. So negotiating with publishers, fundraising, all of that is me and my co-founder. So basically the 2 of us are leading the charge on just getting these companies a bunch of deals. So we're there for these studios 24/7 on Discord. That's where we manage all of our investments. They have access to each other. They can talk to each other at any time. And then, we make the strategy, both short-term and long-term. And then we do the fundraising again. So, we do angel races, we do VC races, we do M&As. IPOs if necessary. We haven't had a company get there yet, but it's there.
It's not very common in gaming just yet, but
Yeah.
Someday.
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess I lead the accelerator with the co-founder. So we take care of all of the studios. I have two staff below the two of us who helps us with finance and stuff, of course. But
Sure.
it's a very it's only 4 people in our team that works on the accelerator. We of course have support from our founder as well, who founded the whole idea 5 years ago, as well as another tech guy in Korea. But generally, we're the two public faces that take care of all the studios and all the negotiations. So you can kind of say that I don't really know how to label myself. That's why my position's kind of irrelevant. It's like co-CEO, director, helping with marketing, game development. I don't know. Doesn't matter. The point is that we're there for the studios with whatever they need. We all have different backgrounds, right? I come from a lot of a heavy gaming background, while my co-founder is like ex-Samsung, ex-Naver, big corporate in-house consulting. Right. My main founder is ex-VC, and the fourth guy is tech startups and also from Naver and Line. So we all have corporate consulting backgrounds. All 4 of us who are the management team are consultants.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and then for G Round, there it's more about managing the team and doing the overall strategy. So I came up with our influencer program and how we were going to work with influencers to market our platform. I came up with a lot of the packages, overall strategy, I guess. And then I take care of my lovely team, who's 14 people now. I have 9 people in my office here in Thailand, and then I have 1 in Argentina, Holland, Sweden, and I'm going to forget someone, Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's mostly making sure they do their jobs, and then just being overall strategy and partnership relationships. So grunt work for GTR and more oversight on G Round. Yeah.
That's excellent. In fact, after this is all over, you and I might need to have a discussion about a few things. I've got some
sure
ideas.
thing.
Well, I'm gonna pivot just a little bit. Your background, I mean, just especially from your time as a pro gamer, I have to imagine that you've attended a ton of events.
Yeah.
In your time, right? I mean, probably more than you would care to have attended, even.
Yes.
But and this is on our show we try to infuse this discussion around events because BizzTalk is an event organizer and the event industry is changing. What has been your experience with events in 2020?
Yeah, this is gonna be a depressive conversation. So
that's okay.
When everything started, I was like, I was excited in a way because now I can find so many more studios. Because when you travel to offline events, right, you have the social aspects, which is amazing. You meet a lot of awesome people randomly that you're not expecting to. We have the Unreal Engine booth where you always find golden companies that you want to invest in. And it's just overall a great experience, but it's limited to the country and limited to people with budgets. So indie studios that don't have budgets that can fly out, you're going to miss them. So when I heard, when COVID started and all the lockdowns came into effect, Thailand started very early. I was like, okay, this is going to be amazing. So I attended my first event, and I'm not going to name them, but it was fucking terrible. Like, it was so bad, and the organizing and the calls and everything. And I was like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. But it was the first event that was basically being run. So I was like, it's going to get better. The second event that same organizer ran was perfect in terms of organizing. The meetings were great and everything. Systems were great. I attended probably every single event the first 3 months, like every single one, to scout, obviously. And the reason I'm saying this is going to be depressive is because, first of all, there's way too many events. Don't attend all of them. I already made that change in July, so I haven't attended all of them since then. Second of all, the quality has significantly dropped, and that's, I skipped one part. My background, actually, I was going to be a psychiatrist. That was what I studied for. So I studied in psychology to be a psychiatrist. So I've always been interested in human behavior, and this is a perfect example. When you get something for free, you don't put as much effort into it. So since every event is free, every pitch was like they, literally just took 5 minutes and threw something together. So the more events I met, the more my smile kept going down, and the smaller my database list would be after every event. Some people wouldn't even fill their fucking profiles, like it makes me angry even talking about it. I have to, but because I'm a nice person, I take your name and your company and I Google it and I find your YouTube link. And if it's interesting, I schedule with you anyway. But other investors and publishers are not going to do that. And then some of the people I did schedule with didn't even have a pitch deck. So 5 minutes in, they told me about their company. I'm like, are you going to show me something? You know, like, why am I here? And the more time went by, it felt like people just kept dropping off and the quality was just worse and worse. So even though I attended, 4 times as many events as when it's offline, I probably found 20% of the quality I found last year through the event section. And generally, it's been an awful experience. Now, by now, most organizers are doing the events themselves in a really good way. It's simple, you know, the systems are in place, all the video is working, you can find all the connections. So I think all the organizers have done a great job by now. Actually, probably by May. I think by May, every kink was figured out. But the quality of the studios, like if there are indie developers listening to this, shape the fuck up. Like, you know, just put effort into your pitch, right? It's like, seriously, that's how I've been feeling the last couple of months. And I've said this, and that's why I laughed when you brought up the topic. I've said this in like 6 speaker sessions now. People ask me the same, oh, now with all these events, you must find more studios. I'm like, no, I'm finding half as many studios or even 20% as many studios because they don't put effort into it. So, and I told this to Dirk, and I think that's why he invited me. I told Dirk that always put a price on your event. $20, $50, doesn't matter. Force these indie developers to pay, because when you pay for something, you're going to put effort into it because you're going to lose money otherwise. So I don't attend free events anymore. I'd rather pay for them. And if I have to pay and the studios don't, I will not attend. The studios have to pay as well, because otherwise I'm going to go into another event, go through 50 pages of lists and not book any meetings. And absolutely. As a final thing, it's gone so bad. I haven't attended an event in 2 months. I'm just sending my Bizz guys now. So I have 2 Bizz dev guys below me, and I'm just having them go instead of me because I'm tired of it. That's the reality. Yeah.
Wow. No, I can understand that. I can understand that. A couple months ago, I had an opportunity to be one of the judges on the pitch deck competition that we did. And gosh, some of the pitches were just, like you said, the quality is just, it's not there. You know, so I can understand that. So kind of a different question then, just kind of building off of what you said, what would have to change in these, in events right now, specifically for gaming? What would have to change to get you back at events besides maybe in-person events coming back? Like what would really have to change?
I don't know. I'm probably going to start attending them soon again. And I'm currently hiring more people. So that's also one reason why I'm not attending, because doing other things at the same time. And also running 2 companies takes a lot of time. But a
little bit,
I guess, I guess, yeah, I mean, definitely, like, again, start selling ticket prices, make less events, collaborate with other people maybe. If you want to do big events, then yeah, co-brand them, co-do them together. And have higher quality. As an organizer, I would put standards. So I would even go as far to say that I promise you that all the publishers and investors will attend the event if you have some preset, either filters in the system or just that you bullet read them first. If they don't have a pitch deck, they're not allowed to sign up to the platform. Or if they don't have a build, they're not allowed to sign up into the platform. This can either be by filters or just on registration. Right. And like basically filtering out all the crap would be so helpful, and then I will attend right away. But we can't just let anyone sign up for free. Like they need to put in effort, you know, and us investors and publishers, you know, we have other ways to find games. So what I did is now I just do it in traditional networking style. I reach out to governments, IGDAs, people I know, and, you know, go on Reddit, go on Facebook, and I have to find the games myself. And, you know, I'm okay with that. I'd rather do that than listen to people who don't have good pitch decks or didn't even prepare one. So I think we definitely need the organizers to start putting higher standards or start charging prices, because then people will put in the effort. I mean, honestly, I love the idea of free events because, you know, indie developers with no money will be able to attend, but I don't love the idea of wasting my time. And I'd rather pick less indie developers, which might sound arrogant or whatever, but it's like, you know, I would even pay the ticket for you. Just, you know, yeah. I would like some sort of filtering system. Dirk and I have talked about this before, about setting up some sort of pre-panel or doing an event where we invite maximum 50 developers, and, you know, and then we vet those 50, and then we invite the investors and publishers, right?
Right.
There are lots of different ways to innovate events, I think. And I am not the only one who's tired of events, by the way, right? We work with
I
every
believe
major
that.
publisher and investor in the world, and I talk to them on a weekly basis. And 3 months ago, I was talking to my buddies in Russia, and they were like, "Oh, you're still going to the events? We stopped 2 months ago." So it's like it's a common sentiment, really.
Absolutely. So let's say, just hypothetically, we're able to filter it down. There's a vetting system, and you finally got like 10 like decent studios with decent pitches. Would it be more interesting to see these pitches one by one on a Zoom call, or like what about like a 3D environment on like a virtual stage, like with everybody tuning in? How like would that make it more interesting, or would that make it more distracting? Like what do you think?
I wouldn't mind having like a variety, like sometimes I like just where the event organizers, what are their names? What's the Russian guys called? White Knights? No? No, not White. No, GD Bay. So GD
Okay, yeah.
Bay, yeah, GD Bay. I think they're Russian or Ukrainian, but they did invited me to this event where I could just sit back and watch pitches for 6 hours, 2 days in a row. Not something I would do a lot, but it's a cool idea. I can just lie down on my sofa and watch it on the TV. So I think a variety of events would be cool where, we as organizers, because I'm running my own event right now as well, we try to kind of not bump into each other, right? And we all have different ways of doing it. So maybe one event is a pure pitching event. One is where I have one-on-ones. One is this virtual thing that you talked about where I can actually walk around. I think they all have room. As long as they're well organized, I would love to attend all different kinds. I mean, it gets boring. I mean, all of us want to have a mixture of digital and offline events. That's the reality, right?
Oh yeah.
Even in a world where most things have turned into remote, we still want to meet each other. So I think there is room for every type of event style. It's just a matter of not making sure there's like six-hour pitch events in a row, right?
Right.
So I think we can be a little bit more collaborative on the event side.
Absolutely. What about on the like the social side? I mean, you talked about like that's one of the things that you kind of miss out on in the offline events is the social side of it. Do you see virtual events being able to adapt to that side efficiently? I mean, and actually pull that off?
Actually, me personally, no, because
Sure.
I mean, I'm a super extrovert person, and I was pro gamer, which is supposed to be the opposite, right? And that's one of the reasons I quit, because you sit in your chair for like 10 hours a day when you're a pro gamer. I need to meet people. So if I don't have a human connection, whether we're like 10 meters away or like 1 meter away, I need that kind of stuff. So personally, for me, I've attended some of these events where, there's like dinners or drinks and stuff, and it's a lot of talking over each other, and it's not the same. And
Right.
you also don't really get to pick your gang, so to speak. Sometimes you get people that you don't really like, and they're part of your group, and it kind of just ruins the dynamic, right? Like I love meeting new people, but sometimes you just don't have a connection, and then you both know, and you just separate, right? But in these events, when you get put in groups and you get put at a big round table and everyone's there, and I'm not a huge fan. I'd rather prefer formats where you're on panels together and you toss like 6 of us together, like investors, and we just have a casual chat, watching the pitches together and stuff like that. That's awesome. So I think more panels, more like collaborative voting systems or other types of things like that would be very healthy. Because where there's like breaks in between where us speakers can talk to each other. I just attended Gamescom Asia, and there was like I don't know what platform they used, doesn't matter, but there was like a speaker lounge and then the live stream, right? And then the speakers were hanging out in the lounge while the stream was going on, and then one speaker jumped over, the other one came back, and I ended up meeting like 6 new people that I'm not talking stuff with. So I think that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
But virtual dinners. I mean, I haven't attended one in 4 months now, but the last one I attended was just very chaotic. And also, you have to remember that I am quite literally in the worst time zone of every Bizz developers, because every remote event is European or American, and I'm in Thailand. So every event starts like 6 p.m. for me, or like middle of the day, and all the dinners and drinks are at my midnight. So
Oh gosh.
it could be that I'm just too tired too. I mean, that's very possible.
Hey, I can imagine that. I would be that way if I was tired as well. What time is it for you right now?
It's 11:30 p.m.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
do
why
you,
I'm wearing a suit.
it's all
Yeah.
good, man. You can, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I love it, man. Well, we're got like 1 minute left. But Pontus, this was awesome, man. Your insight has actually been really, really good. You're giving feedback from a perspective that we haven't really gotten to see yet. I mean, you are an active investor, and
Yep.
going to these events. And some people are investors, but they don't really want to see pitches. They're just they're just there, right? But then there's investors like you that are like, hey, I am looking for the next deal, but please put in some effort. Like, I just want to talk to serious people. And I think that that's great advice. And obviously this show is kind of more directed at people doing events and how to do them better. But I think that advice could easily go out to a larger audience, especially indie studios that are trying to figure that out. COVID has, I know it's decimated a lot of small studios that haven't figured out how to get in front of the right people. So maybe that advice will help save some people. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so. And if there are any studios looking for investors, we're closing our round. Actually, it's closed already, but if you want to send something last minute to me, Pontus@globaltalkround.com. And sorry for stealing 3 minutes of the YouTube audience time here. I ended up being late, so.
Oh, no worries. Technology, and plus it's like you said, it's almost midnight your time, so
It's okay.
it's all right. It's fine. This is a pretty casual show anyway.
This was way too short, man. You should invite me for an hour next time. I think we could have kept talking for a long time.
I'll tell you what. Let's do it. We'll make it happen.
Yeah. All right. Tell me when to be back.
Will do. Thanks again, Pontus, for being here, and to our audience, thanks so much. See you next time, and have a great day.